oogenesis, process which the formation of the female gamete, we use it to say as ovum. The process of formation of mature female gamete is called oogenesis. Okay, oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development stage when a couple of million great mother cells, the great gamete mother cells, or oogonia, are formed within each fetal ovary and do not multiply thereafter. This is the very, very important line. This is a very new and fresh thing here. You may have learned over the female reproductive system in earlier classes, but this is very new. That means when we are taking a girl, the formation of the gamete mother cells. So where does the gamete mother cells or oogonia formed in this girl? When she is in the mother uterus, when she is developing in the mother uterus, when she is as a fetus, that means during embryonic development we are talking. This is a very important and interesting news to know that oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development stage when a couple of million, that means 2 million gamete mother cells are formed within each fetal ovary, then do not multiply thereafter. That means that during the embryonic development, when she's there in the mother uterus, there itself already gamete mother cells are formed. That's the reason in female reproductive system we said the germinal epithelium of the ovary has no role at all in the development, that in the formation of oogonia, the formation of ovum, that we said that by because as many as number of ovum are required, more than that the female she produced when she is in her mother uterus. So this is very important and very interesting thing to know. That means we can say based on this, we can frame the statement there is no production at all. There is no production of ovum after birth in a female after birth. There is no production, only what is required. Only that maturation of that particular is required. Okay, let us see the detail. So these cells start division and stop the process at prophase 1 and of the meiosis 1. At this stage, these are called primary oocytes. At this stage, these are called primary oocytes. Okay. So we have the frequent words primordial follicle, primary oocyte, secondary follicle, secondary oocyte. We need to know their difference also. So today it's going to be a little difficult thing and complicated process we are going to learn. So that's a be careful, then focus here. The first important thing we noticed here in a female, the gamete mother cells or oogonia are formed when she is in her mother uterus. How many are formed? Each ovary with couple of million. That 1 or 2 million cells that over the gamete mother cells or oogonia are formed. Okay. Then after what happened to them? Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by a flattened layer of follicular cells. We say it as primordial follicle. Primordial follicle develops that the theca externa, theca interna, membrana granulosa, zona pellucida, corona radiata, that we have seen all the sequence of layers earlier. So that form the secondary follicle, that form the tertiary follicle, then Graafian follicle. Okay, no matter. That we'll discuss that also, but we are running only one particular concept we took over. So we are searching for that concept only. So finally, Graafian follicle is formed. Okay, Graafian follicle is formed. Then what next? What next? Ovulation occurs. The formation, the release of ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. The Graafian follicle is at first very small compared to the thickness of the cortex of the ovary. So that we'll discuss that also. That Graafian follicle formation under that we'll discuss. But now we came to know the stages. We need to know the particular stages of this concept, whatever we learn now, we need to expand that particular concept. Okay, so let me go for that particular concept. What we say that each ovary by birth itself, that means before the birth, that in when the girl is there in the mother uterus, the couple of million is there. So, in what form they are present, that we read now. That in what form they are present? In the form of primary follicle. In the form of primary follicle. Primary follicles contain many primary, that each primary follicle contain primary oocyte. How many of these kind are present here? How many of these kind are present? That's what we said, couple of million in each ovary. That ovary and this ovary, couple of million. That primary follicles containing primary oocytes are present. Okay, very good. Next, what next? From that birth. So started the story from the birth of female. So by birth, this is the condition. A primary follicle is present. Okay. Then that when the girl reaches to the puberty age, okay, puberty age, 10 to 12 years, 13 years, that depends here. That here will be, I'm taking 10 years. Okay, so I'm taking 10 years here. This primary follicle, how many are present? The 2 million are present, nearly 40 lakhs. Okay, so there is no production here. After this, there is no production after this. Then what happens? One of the primary follicle will develop into Graafian follicle, our said Graafian follicle, like theca externa, theca interna, membrana granulosa, antrum cavity. That fully mature Graafian follicle will be seen like this. That means among that 2 million follicles, one of the follicle will develop. One of the follicle will develop into Graafian follicle, and Graafian follicle containing primary oocyte is going to become secondary oocyte. That's the story. Okay. So how many we require, that we need to see here. Remaining formation, that all that the individual concept wise I am teaching all this here. So how many we require actually, that we need to see. That how many we require means a female for every 28 days like this, one of the primary follicle is going to mature in the form of Graafian follicle. Further events will be discussed, but just focused here only. Okay, for every 28 days, one Graafian follicle is required. So that imagine 10 years is the puberty age, beginning of the puberty age. Maximum 50 years I am taking. Maximum 50 years is the end of puberty age. Okay. So for every 28 days, one of the primary follicle is going to mature in the form of Graafian follicle. With this, we need to calculate how many follicles a female requires in her lifetime. That we want, that calculation we want. Let us assume for 1 year, it is going to be 13. That means 28 days. Nearly 13. Less than 13 definitely. It cannot be more than 13. Yearly 13 are there. How many years that a particular female is going to form the Graafian follicle and ovum? 40 years. That means we need to calculate like this. I hope you are understanding what exactly I am doing. What exactly I am doing? How many Graafian follicles are required for a female in her lifetime? The maximum I am calculating 10 to 12 years. I took 10 years. Then 45 to 50 years after that, she cannot able to produce the follicle. She is not able to produce the secondary oocyte. Okay. So that period of time when I collected, when I took here, the total maximum age will be 40 years and maximum follicles used for a year is 13 and maximum how many she required? That 520. 520. Now let us recall what we learned first. At the age of embryonic development only in a female, each ovary is having couple of million follicles. We say that means couple of million follicles are present, but they are not at all useful. Then when this girl after birth, then till the puberty age, some of them will come for degeneration, no matter, even though they come degeneration, no matter. So when the puberty age begins, she start using For every 28 days, one follicle. Every 28 days, one follicle. The sequential and series of events we'll discuss now. So in that way, she may use a maximum of 520 follicles. That it can't be increased more than 520. Definitely, it is going to be lower than 520 with various other reasons. That means instead of 28 days, in some may have 35 days, some may have 40 days. That which is the regular phenomena here. So at the time, it may be less than 520, isn't it? So that's why we are justifying our land statement. A female does not produce. A female does not produce. That is very important line to be understood, to be remembered. A female does not produce. Okay, so that statement does not produce any ova. Ova. Generally, they use the word ova. Secondary oocyte we need to say here. What's the difference? We'll come to know. Any ovum. Any ovum during any ovum after birth, we say. That means during her lifetime. During lifetime. There is no production at all. That is very important. I am stressing here. This is a new concept. No production at all. So what is that? Then only maturation. Already, whatever the follicles are present, that follicle will come for maturation. Primordial follicle formed to Graphian follicle. Maturation only seen over. Okay. So that concept will end. And now we'll move on. We'll move on. What's given there? That will go there. That let us check that particular issues. Okay, so let me read that area. Once again, the process of formation of a mature female gamete is called oogenesis. Oogenesis is initiated at what time? During embryonic developmental stage only, when a couple of million gamete mother cells are formed within the each fetal ovary do not multiply thereafter. That's why in the earlier when we learned that the ovary germinal epithelium is outer layer and not at all in the production we say. Okay, these cells start division and stop the process at prophase 1 and meiosis 1. At this stage, these are called primary oocyte. At this stage, these are said to be primary oocyte. Okay, formation of ovarian follicle. Each primary oocyte then get surrounded by a flattened layer of follicular squamous cells. Let me show you. A primary oocyte is there. Primary oocyte surrounded by that a layer of flattened simple squamous cells. Okay, so what is this? What is this? This is primordial follicle. Primordial follicle. Okay. So primordial follicle means it contains a primary oocyte. A primary oocyte at which what stage? Meiosis 1 and prophase 1, which is surrounded by simple squamous epithelial cells. What do you say that is? Primordial follicle. A large number of these follicles are degenerate during the period of birth to the puberty. So, as I said now, there is no matter, even though large number degenerate, no matter. Therefore, at puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 follicles. So, at the time of birth, how many follicles? 2 million. Okay, so how many remain? 60,000, 2 million each ovary. Okay, so how many remain? 60,000 to 80,000. How many we want? Just 520. More than 520. 520. More than 520 is not at all. Less than 520 we require. So that's why nothing to worry. We'll get a doubt here for some students. 60,000 to 80,000. Is it sufficient? They're more than sufficient. You see here the number, how much we require maximum? 520. Okay. Later, the flattened follicular cells become cuboidal. Cells become cuboidal. I'm drawing the cuboidal cell. So, primary oocyte as usual in the center, which meiosis 1 at prophase 1. What do you say it as? This is called primary follicle. We say it as primary follicle. Okay. So, primary follicle. The difference between the primordial follicle and primary follicle is primary oocyte surrounded by simple squamous epithelium. We say primordial follicle. Then simple squamous, when it turns to the cuboidal epithelial cells, we say primary follicle. Okay. Then after that, flattened follicular cells become cuboidal. That's over. I made a separation there. Proliferate to produce a stratified epithelium, which constitute membrana granulosa. The cells are called granulosa cells. The follicle at the stage of development are called primary follicle. Primary follicle. Then after a homogeneous membrane zona pellucida appear between the primary oocyte and granulosa cells. Here it is. Then zona pellucida is a membrane derived from the ovum. Then innermost layer of the granulosa cells are firmly attached to the zona pellucida forming corona radiata. Then a cavity appear within the membrana granulosa. The follicular cavity increases in size. As a result, the wall of follicle becomes relatively thin. The wall of follicle becomes relatively thin. The oocyte now lies eccentrically out of the center. In the follicle, surrounded by some granulosa cells, it is called cumulus oophorus. As the follicle expands, the stromal cells surrounding the membrana granulosa become condensed to form a covering called theca interna. Then, that outside the theca interna, some fibrous tissue become condensed to form theca externa. Okay, theca interna, then theca externa. Now these follicles are called secondary follicle. Okay, till the time the story it seems to be confusing. That's what I said these layers already for you. Okay, so we know already the layers. Just will check it out. Just will check it out. So what are the layers need to form here? Theca externa, theca interna. They are formed at last from here itself. So order from last to first, theca externa, then after theca interna. Then you can see cumulus oophorus, then granulosa cells, membrana granulosa, antrum cavity, corona radiata, zona pellucida. So not to confuse, that's why I said these layers before itself thing. Okay, the order of formation, first, what is formed? Zona pellucida, then after corona radiata, then after corona radiata, then after the cumulus oophorus, theca interna, theca externa, the membrana granulosa, cumulus oophorus, theca interna, and theca externa. Okay, so this theca interna layer is going to form a hormone called estrogen. Okay, so that's the story of primary follicle, how it turns into secondary follicle. Then after we have a primary oocyte in the center, isn't it? We are talking about only follicular layers. What about the primary oocyte which is there? That completes the meiosis 1, enters into the meiosis 2, but meiosis 1 completion makes them a large haploid secondary oocyte and a fast polar body. The secondary oocyte remains bulk of cytoplasm of the primary oocyte and second meiotic division begins. Then second meiotic division also will continue but stops at metaphase 2. So secondary follicle further changes into mature follicle called tertiary follicle or Graafian follicle. So definitely confusing thing, isn't it? We'll make some notes here. We'll make some notes. Then we'll understand, we'll able to understand. So I'm giving the notes with clarity. So I start from properties. Primordial follicle onwards. We'll start from the properties of primordial follicle. 18. So what is primary oocyte? Primordial follicle. How do we recognize primordial follicle? Primordial follicle is each primary oocyte lined by, covered by simple squamous epithelium. So that is called primordial follicle. Okay. So where do you see this? Where do you see this? Wait, wait, 1 minute. Where do you see this? Let us see. Here it is. Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by flattened layer of follicular or squamous cells. It is called primordial follicle. So where do you see this? A large number of these follicles degenerate during the period from the birth to puberty. So these kind of follicles are present till puberty. So after that, that they'll turn into primary follicle. Okay. So, and from during embryonic development till puberty, what kind we can expect here? That primordial follicle only. Okay. So each primary oocyte covered by simple squamous epithelium, we can say it as primordial follicle. So where do you see this? So they observed that these kind of follicles from birth to puberty, and they are going to be degenerate continuously. Next, after that, primary follicle, that we need to move with primary follicle. So let me change the color. We take this primary follicle. So each primary oocyte surrounded by simple cuboidal epithelial cells. Simple cuboidal epithelial cells. Okay. So these kind of primary follicles, you can see that at puberty age. Okay, so this time is not a proper way, but just for our understanding we are making. So now, how a primary follicle is turned into, okay, let me draw the diagram for the both of these things. So what I said, simple squamous epithelium. Okay, so in that, what is present inside? A primary oocyte. Okay, next, let me change the color. Simple cuboidal epithelial cells, primary follicle. Okay, next. That inside the as well, same primary oocyte is present. What next? What next? These cuboidal epithelial cells start dividing continuously. Cuboidal epithelial cells will divide continuously. That like this, like this. Okay, so they divides continuously. Simple become stratified, isn't it? Here it is simple squamous. Here it is simple cuboidal. Okay, so simple squamous, simple cuboidal. So in this we can recognize this is primordial follicle, which can be recognized in the form of simple squamous epithelium. Primary follicle, which can be recognized in the form of simple cuboidal epithelium. Then here it is common. Primary oocyte is there in the center, which is at meiosis 1 and prophase 1. We need to discuss that separately. So now let me talk about the primary follicle. The layers of the primary follicle divides continuously and form granulosa cells. Granulosa cells. So that is not membrana granulosa. Talking about granulosa cells. So what these are? Granulosa cells. Developmental stages we are now talking about. These are granulosa cells. Okay. In the granulosa cell, inside the granulosa cell, step by step I am giving. Then after I'll read the text back again for you. So that first of all, let me draw the granulosa cells. Now simple became stratified, isn't it? Simple epithelium became stratified epithelium. Below these, we are going to form a glycoprotein layer is going to be formed below this. That is zona pellucida. the first layer, which is found here, zona pellucida. Next, after these, what is the next step? That as usual, secondary oocyte, and now the new layer, zona pellucida, we need to draw. Then some of the membrana granulosa cells, some of the membrana granulosa cells are separating from here, from this layer, and they are going to form corona radiata. Glycoprotein layer itself formed from the ovum layer, and then that is zona pellucida. Now what layer? What is formed? Corona radiata. After that, the remaining granulosa cells are started separating from the secondary oocyte, that developing ovum started separating. Now the secondary oocyte became eccentric. This is eccentric, not in the center. Till the time you can see in the center, but now it became eccentric. Some of the granulosa cells, one side still they have connection. That is what you say, cumulus oophorus. Okay. So these now we can say this as membrana granulosa. Okay. So we overlap this. Corona radiata is there. Now the remaining layer we can say membrana granulosa. Okay, so after separating, after the formation of corona radiata, which is getting separated, forming antrum cavity, now it is said to be membrana granulosa. It is called membrana granulosa. So what left? The two more layers need to be formed. That is theca interna. Okay, next theca externa. Theca interna, theca externa. Along with this is called secondary follicle. If the secondary follicle further develops, if the secondary follicle further develops, that become tertiary follicle, the Graafian follicle. So now let us draw the Graafian follicle again. Secondary oocyte. That means primary oocyte underwent meiosis 1 and leads to the formation of secondary oocyte, that which is secondary oocyte is getting formed here. That we'll discuss with that separately. Then next, surrounded by that perivitelline space, little space is there. That is called perivitelline space. That's not the layer. Now I drawn zona pellucida. Then what next? We need to draw the corona radiata. Corona radiata. Then after that, the membrana granulosa, the cells of membrana granulosa. Earlier, you will find some confusion here. Let me see. When simple epithelium is becoming compound epithelium, where is it? Yeah. When simple epithelium is becoming compound, this we said granulosa cells. This minute difference is not given by the textbook here. This is granulosa cell. And this is membrana granulosa. That's the difference. Very small difference is there. Granulosa cell. Then after formation of corona radiata, it is called membrana granulosa, we can say. Okay, so finally, how it is seems to be. Let's talk about that membrana granulosa. Next, what to be? Theca interna is formed. Then theca externa is formed. The still eccentric, that means this is eccentric, that little outside the center. And still we have connection with one side, that we say the cumulus oophorus, and this is antrum cavity. So these words you need to relate yourself. That's why I said it for so many times. Today even we managed it to say theca externa, theca interna, and membrana granulosa, antrum cavity, corona radiata, zona pellucida, secondary oocyte, and cumulus oophorus. This is the issue. Okay. What left now? Now we need to see about the primary ovum, formation of ovum, primary oocyte division. Now we focus only in the center, in this area. The primary oocyte, what are the events happening when outside is growing? What is happening inside? This primary oocyte is going to continue the division. That means primary oocyte at what stage it is present, will make separate notes for that. So what are they? First of all, primary oocyte. Let me increase the font. primary oocyte. Okay, so primary oocyte. At what stage it is? That is very, very important. At what stage it is? Primary oocyte in meiosis 1 and prophase 1. Primary oocyte is there in meiosis 1 and prophase 1. From which time? From birth to, before birth even, from birth to puberty, that primary oocyte which is there in the center of the primordial and primary follicle is at meiosis 1, started actually is at primary, that prophase 1 is at that particular stage. Then after, when the developmental process is going, when a primary follicle is developing into secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, that inside meiosis 1 will be completed over. Meiosis 1 completed. So when meiosis 1 is completed, we'll find two cells. One is secondary oocyte. Okay, so bulk of this particular primary oocyte yolk substance is taken by this one, they say. That means perivitelin space with perivitelin fluid. Okay, the other is going to be polar body. Well, let me change the color for polar body. This is polar body. Two cells are formed. One cell is polar body and other cell is secondary oocyte. Okay, so this is secondary oocyte. So what is the position of this secondary oocyte? Secondary oocyte position in the meiosis 2 is also started. Meiosis 2 is started, which is at metaphase 2. So that means, will it complete? No, not at all. That here it is stopped over. When does it complete? When sperm comes. When sperm comes and penetrates. So that's why that longer story that we have to discuss tomorrow. So that is that till the time secondary oocyte is formed here, secondary oocyte, which is formed after the meiosis 1, the haploid one it is, and meiosis 2, metaphase 2. Already it started meiosis 2 also, but stopped at metaphase 2, waiting for the sperm. That's why I didn't call it as ovum from the beginning. In general terms, you may call it as ovum, but till it don't complete meiosis 2, how can you say ovum? So that's why we need to show the discrimination in the option. Primary oocyte divides and form. Secondary oocyte, not ovum, isn't it? But sometimes in NCRT, the state textbook, they use it. No matter. But we need to keep that in mind. Okay, so after all this, let us try to read. This is a complicated area, maybe small paragraph, but understanding this is going to be a tougher issue. Now I think you will be able to better understand now. So primordial follicle property we are seeing simple squamous, primary oocyte surrounded by simple squamous. A large number of these follicles degenerate by puberty. Only leftover is 60,000 to 80,000 in each ovary. Later the flattened become cuboidal. At the time we say it as primary follicle. Primary follicle at the age of puberty started development that becomes stratified. We call it as membrana granulosa cells. We need to say, okay, they said it, but membrana granulosa is different. What I said to you. So follicle at this stage develop primary follicle, a homogeneous membrane, zona pellucida, appears between the primary oocyte and granulosa cells that I shown in the diagram now. Then zona pellucida is derived from ovum actually. Then corona radiata is derived from that granulosa cell. Corona radiata is formed. Okay, then after a cavity, antrum. When we are reading, that visual should come in mind. That visual we are taken earlier on board. That should come in mind. Otherwise, you can't understand a single line from here. Now, a cavity or antrum appears. Let me erase this. A cavity, antrum cavity appears within the membrana granulosa. That follicular cavity increases in size. As a result, the wall of the follicle becomes very thin. Then oocyte now lies eccentrically. Eccentrically. Just keep the diagram in mind. This is the secondary oocyte, zona pellucida. let me draw here also. Zona pellucida. Then let me use another color, corona radiata. Then antrum cavity, granulosa cells. Eccentric means not in the center. Then theca interna. Next, finally, theca externa, outermost layer. Theca externa. Okay, then with this, let us start. Excuse me. So this is cumulus oophorus. Okay, so the oocyte now lies eccentrically in the follicle, surrounded by some granulosa cells. That is called cumulus oophorus. That I show now. As the follicle expands, the stromal cells surrounding the membrana granulosa become condensed to form a covering called theca interna. This green one just shown. Outside the theca interna, some fibrous tissue become condensed to form another covering called theca externa. The black line just shown. Now these follicles are called secondary follicles. So secondary follicle. Now these are called secondary follicle. The cells of theca interna is going to secrete the hormone. Estrogen hormone is from theca interna. You just notice this, that there is no special structure. In case of male, we said interstitial cells or Leydig cells are going to secrete the testosterone hormone. But here, in case of ovary, these kind of primary follicles are present. They are not capable of secreting estrogen hormone. So when does they are capable? When any primary follicle become Graafian follicle, when in them if the theca interna is developed, then it starts the secretion of estrogen. That's the thing. A temporary structure. Okay. So the temporary endocrine gland. That till the time it is primary follicle, no capability of estrogen. But when it becomes Graafian follicle, secondary follicle, then it starts. Okay. So then it's okay. Then we need to discuss about the inner primary oocyte. What we said that complete the meiosis one, and that results secondary oocyte and first polar body. The secondary oocyte remains bulk of cytoplasm of the primary oocyte. Then the second meiotic division begins, stops at meiosis 2. Then secondary follicle further changes, finally reaches to the formation of Graafian follicle, tertiary follicle or Graafian follicle. This is the total story of the formation of follicle. Small area, but complicated. So that's why you need to go for this particular area with the diagram only, with the Graafian follicle diagram, which we have taken earlier. So with the diagram, if you start reading, you will understand. Okay, so ovulation process is related to the menstrual cycle. So that's why I'll explain ovulation along with the menstrual cycle in the coming classes. Along with the menstrual cycle, we'll learn the ovulation process. Here it is even complicated process, and most times the NEET is going to focus in this area. That questions are going to be from here itself, menstrual cycle onwards. For that, we need to understand this complicated procedure that will continue this tomorrow.